Hey everybody, I finally decided to make this video. I just wanted to come on here and make a video because of what's been going on in America and what I've been seeing on YouTube and what I've been seeing in the media. And as a black woman in America, married to a black man, raising two young boys, a 3-year old and a 1-year old, um, I just was suppressing some feelings for this situation. And I realized over the last couple of days, I've been, kind of stressed out about it. And it's been because I've been suppressing these feelings. Because when you look at the media and you see racism and you like police and racism on black men, white police officer, it kind of disturbs you a little bit because you're like, man, my husband is black, my children are black boys, they're gonna grow up to be black men, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like what kind of America are they gonna grow up in, and what experiences are they gonna have? And it just is very disheartening to see those types of things still taking place. But I'm like, we're doing the protests now, and they are bringing awareness to other cases that haven't been, um, I guess, touched, that's dealing with other race related killings. And I'm just praying for a better tomorrow. I'm praying for a solution to this problem of what is racial discrimination, racial profiling, and race relations, period, in America. We, as black people, as a black community, have experienced racism in this country. And while I don't know if the majority of America think that we have moved past racism because we have had the first black president, I mean, we haven't. There's still some underlying racism. It may not be as evident as it used to be, but it's definitely still going on. And so, my thing, because I have young boys growing up in America, young black boys growing up in America, my thing is, what is the solution to remedy what is considered racism? You know, how can we as a community, as a nation, come together to remedy racism? And I, you know, one of the things that I want to say is I hear a lot of people say, "Well, I don't see color. I see people," and that's a lie because you definitely see color. Just say that I see color, but I don't base any decisions off of that because I believe we're all human beings. We're all equal, and we all deserve better. We all deserve justice. We all deserve liberty. We all deserve freedom, even though we look different and we're from different backgrounds. We're still human first and foremost. I think that what it takes is dialogue between different cultures, and for different cultures to open up their culture to another culture, and to be willing to answer some questions that are considered offensive or that are considered racist. In a black community, I've heard of a lot of black women who were asked by white women to could they touch their hair, and I'm just like, you know, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, why do you want to touch my hair? Like, that's kind of weird that you want to touch my hair, but we have to not be defensive if they ask, because some people are just legit curious. And while to us it might seem offensive or racist, they just might legit be curious. And so then my question would be like, well, that's kind of a weird question. Like, why would you want to touch my hair? What's different about my hair that you want to touch it? Like, it's just hair. But then you can see the texture is really different. Like, I just, this is one of the things. And I'm like, if that's a question of curiosity, I'm sure there's other questions of curiosity that white people would like to ask black people, that black people would like to ask white people. So why not have a conversation, or some type of dialogue, some type of program, some type of event that allows for these questions to be asked and answered in a respectable way, that's open and that's honest and that's not offensive or defensive, but that's helping to bridge the racial divide, because it's some things like some people haven't had an encounter of working with people of other cultures, so they're not sure about some of the issues that we're so like gung ho about. They might not understand why we think there's still racism in America. They might be like, this is the land of the free, home of the brave, and we don't have racism. Like, everything is desegregated and stuff. And so they legit might think there's no racism going on because of those things. But when we start talking and telling them some of the things we've experienced of like racial profiling and interviews and other incidents, then maybe they will understand. But we have to find a solution to bridge this racial divide, to bridge this gap. And when it comes to police officers in general, before it gets to the point of them killing someone, especially unarmed people and unarmed black people, like there has to be some type of process that has to be done before they can draw their weapon, because if they're unarmed, then that's not even a fair fight. They didn't even get a chance to fight for their life. And someone with more authority and power over them just decided that they was going to take their life because they thought they had a gun, because they thought this and they thought that. Like, I think a lot of things, but that don't mean that I can act on it. Like, who gives that type of authority, that you can act on your thoughts? And that's just not fair. So I just think there's some type of process that needs to be developed for police officers before they can draw their weapons and kill somebody. Now, I'm not denying that there are officers who get shot and killed in the line of duty, and I respect the police officer profession to the fullest, because I know that going out into a city or a town and not knowing what situation is going to escalate or who possibly will try to kill you because you're a police officer, like, I know that that's an issue. And I feel for those families who have someone in their family who is an officer, who goes out every day and who's protecting and serving people who don't believe in what they do, or who don't think that they are good people, or they're out to get them and stuff like that, and who have bad motives towards the police. Like, I feel for those families. They're just praying that they come home for the night and that they don't have anything happen. And the people who are just out and about daily and who happen to have a situation, come about where they are interacting with the police and it ends fatally. Like, no one can plan for this type of stuff. No one can plan to not get killed, because of course if you knew you were going to get killed today, you probably wouldn't go out or anything. But there has to be some type of process as a police officer, because it's a job. And just like with any other job, you have steps that you take before a situation escalates, before someone gets fired, before some type of discipline happens. Like, it might get written up, you might have a coaching, you might have to take some type of class. But for a police officer, if he has to act in that moment and shoot somebody, like, is no reversing that. You can't go to a class. You can try to go to class after it, but it's too late. You took that person's life. So I don't know what type of law can be evoked that would allow police officers to draw their weapon, especially on unarmed people and people that are in handcuffs. Like, there's no reason to kill somebody in handcuffs, like at gunpoint or anything else. Like, someone who's already handcuffed, tase them because they in handcuffs. Just tase them down. Like, if they try to run, tase them or something, because they're in handcuffs. Like, they can't do too much with handcuffs. And if you need to, handcuff their feet or something. Like, I don't know, handcuff their knees or something. But to jump the literally jump the gun and kill them is that is very, very extreme, and no one should have that type of power to just decide, oh, he got a gun, I'm about to kill him, before he kills me. Like, it just has to be a better way, some kind of way, like, I'm not a lawmaker, not a politician, you know um but I know that reform can happen, um and I know that it needs to happen, because if a police officer is having a bad day, or is ticked off, or just is overly aggressive, and it can lead to something like that, an unarmed person getting killed, like, that's just not the way to go. That's making all police officers look bad. The police profession looks bad. And I know that not all police are bad. I don't believe that at all in my heart. I know that there are great police officers who protect and serve, and who do their job with dignity and integrity, who are proud to say that they are police officers, who are proud to protect and serve their community, who are proud to stand on the front lines to protect them from hurt and harm, who are proud to show up for distress calls, and who are proud to do these things, and who stand behind, what they took an oath for. And there's people who don't care what the race or creed or ethnicity is. They are there to protect and serve the community and the people who are in it. Like, I believe majority of police officers think this way. I do not think police officers are bad. I would never say that. um I just, this situation where it escalates to someone getting killed, like, the police officers are not executioners, unless I know, like, if they have a shootout, by all means, you know their life is in danger, shootout, definitely, do what you have to do. But if that person is unarmed, I don't see any justification in killing somebody unarmed, whether you were sitting on their neck or use the gun. An unarmed black person, that has been the headline several times, and we're not even counting the times before social media was a thing, before cell phones were a thing. Like, we know there were several instances before that these things happen, but now that we're able to capture it on cell phones and, on social media, things like that, it's like something has to be done. As a black woman married to a black man with two young sons growing up in America, like, what can we do to help the situation? How could we remedy the racism that's associated with police brutality or anything? Because if we have black people who think that the police are bad, or the police are racist, we need to bridge that gap, because the relations between the police officers and black community are always going to be strained. We have to find a way to bridge the communication gap and to bridge the fear gap. Because I can speak for myself. Like, when I got pulled over by the police officer, I was nervous. I mean, I guess I was nervous. I didn't want to go to jail or anything, but I didn't even do anything wrong. But I just got pulled over because I didn't, my lights was off, and it was a nighttime, and I had just got the car, and I didn't even realize the lights weren't on. But he was just like, just remember to put your lights on, and I still had to show my license and registration and everything. But that was like my only encounter getting pulled over. But it's just one of those things, like, what is it about police officers in the black community? Why is that interaction feared? Like, what needs to happen to bridge that gap? We have black police officers that come and speak and everything, but we need something more to kind of bridge that gap, that more dialogue, more respect, more understanding can happen. Because I know everything is not racially motivated, but because of the history of America, it's going to be perceived that way. That's just what it is. And until we can bridge that gap, it's going to happen. Until we can bridge the gap of racism, you know, it's racism is still going to be alive in a black community. You know, we just, the dialogue that needs to happen is willing participants from every culture needs to sit down at some national big table situation and hash out these understandings. Ask those offensive racist questions to the other culture that you have, and hopefully that can clear up some stereotypes. Hopefully that can clear up some of the racism that people will look down upon black people or look down upon other people of ethnicities and things like that. Like, we really need to um figure that part out. We really need to figure that part out because um I am more about solutions than just trying to hurry put a band-aid over it. Like, we need to see if that solution needs a band-aid. We need to get stitches. We need to get surgery. We need to get that item removed. I mean, we need to get that body part removed altogether. Like, we need to get down to the business and see how we can remedy the situation. And if these situations keep occurring, that must mean that there is no real solution. That's just band-aids to cover the situation. So we need to search for it. And one of the things that I thought, that should happen during this time is we should ask college students, particularly HBCUs, because college students are the future leaders of America. And so they will eventually get into these different positions as lawmakers, as, police officers or whatever else they choose to be, lawyers and all of that. They're going to get into these professions. And I would like to know, like, what are their perspectives? How would they change racism, or what would their agenda be? Like, what are some of the innovative ways they may have, to help this situation? But I haven't seen anyone really ask the colleges on that level, because, like, ultimately the people who are currently in office now, they are doing what they're doing and nothing is happening. So it has to be the new generation that's coming in with the changed mind have to be the one to change things. And I just think that will be a good way, because as the future leaders, like, they're the ones getting educated and they're the ones that's going to be the future of America. So why not capitalize on them right now, while they're students, and to see their young minds working and thinking differently than what we're already thinking now. I think that their perspective is really important on how they view things, because it'll just be interesting to everybody, and they might have a great solution to the problem. But I mean, that's just one thing. Another issue is talking about the flag and the flag and kneeling to the flag. Now, my thing is, the words that go along with this flag is, I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Those are the words associated with the flag. We say that before every sports game, any event that we have in school assemblies and things like that. And it's like, more people are putting emphasis on the flag itself than the words associated with the flag. Because, you can ask yourself now, like, is this one nation under God? Is it liberty and justice for all? Like, what godly principles are we using right now? Where is God in all that we're doing right now? If it's one nation under God, are we really free? Does everyone have liberty? Is there justice for everybody? Does everybody have their day in court where they can defend themselves? Where they can seek justice? Where they can have justice? Like, you have to ask your questions. But I think more people are putting their emphasis on the flag, the physical object itself, versus the words associated with that flag. And as someone that's kneeling, is making other people aware that, hey, this is what the flag stands for, but it's actually not happening. So how can you pledge allegiance to something and see it not playing out in real life? You know? So that's what the kneeling is about. And everyone has a right to freedom of speech. It doesn't say, it's not a law against kneeling in front of the flag. It's not a law against that. But it should be a law against Americans who don't uphold the actual Pledge of Allegiance words. The Pledge of Allegiance words. Um there should be some type of way to uphold those words, because by Colin Kaepernick kneeling, he started a movement. And it was a lot of people who didn't believe, oh, he's disrespecting the flag. He's disrespecting the flag. Now, I haven't heard one person say anything about the Pledge of Allegiance. That when we stand up for the flag, we say the pledge. I haven't heard one person say that those words, are is not is being disrespectful, being disrespected or anything. They just say the flag is being disrespected. But nobody is talking about the words associated with the flag. I honestly don't get it, because the flag is the flag. And I'm like, we're a nation under God. We can kneel before the Almighty God in the church, at home, and say our prayers, and we can kneel before Him. And that's a sign of surrenderance to the Almighty God. But you kneel to His flag, and it's like, oh Lord, all hell done broke loose. Like, it's legit like that. And it's like, oh my gosh, because you kneel to a flag. Like, that seems so backwards to me. I think more people should be outraged because the Pledge of Allegiance is not being upheld. Like, that's what we should be upset about. Not because somebody kneeled down like this. You kneel down like, okay. But hey, I'm just a person, just a regular American person. But that's just my thoughts. It's just my thoughts. We gotta get it together, America. We gotta get it together. Let's bridge this racial divide and have those uncomfortable conversations with each other so that we can do better for the future. Especially for my babies. Especially for those other babies who growing up, whether white, black, Asian, whatever your race is, for a better future for them. We need to do better now. So I hope I inspired and invoked some type of change in the situation, and I hope that I can do something as well to continue to make a difference in this world, and to not be a statistic or a stereotype, but to exceed those things that was once told to us. You can't do this, you can't be this, you can't have this, you can't go there, you can't be there. To continue to excel and rise above it. That's all we can do, is make those people look like fools. So I encourage you to be the best you can be, and to always stay prayed up and keep God first, and everything will be alright. Peace, love,